Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Did y'all see Queen Sugar tonight? Ooh. Who called it? Who told y'all? Y'all know I don't toot my own horn. I don't do a lot of I told you so's. But who called this situation with Nova and Calvin? Huh? Who said it? Huh? Who said what now? Who said what? Oh, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Listen. This episode was good. Next week gonna be the season finale, okay? But even I started to see when Nova got the story and then she checked into the story. And then when the lady got to talking about the police officers, I knew at that moment it was going to be Calvin. I knew that Calvin had something to do with it because he had kind of already told Nova about it. You know, that this happened when he was a rookie. This thing that had happened, that's the one she threw up in his face over there at when they was having dinner with his daughter. And so I'ma tell you, I just something wasn't sitting right in my spirit about Calvin. But listen, we're gonna talk about Calvin. We're gonna talk about Calvin. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's first talk about Blue. All of the sudden, Blue is not like a little kid anymore to me. I don't know. He seems taller or something. I don't know if they were keeping him at the first of this season in this little boy blue box. I don't know. Even his conversation is not as you know, you know how kids talk. You know how kids talk. I was gonna do the little girl from My Wife and My Kids. I forget that little baby talk they used to hate. When the season first came on, he was giving us, I don't want the super papa saga boogie doogie. And like overnight, Blue is like stars, the moons, holograms, you know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Like he is giving us 25 consonants and one vowel words, you know what I mean? And but still, I don't know if they've accelerated his age, but Blue can't really be any more than 9 or 10, right? Like it's Blue, he ain't 13 or 14. He's not that old. He's not that old. You know, I don't know how old the actress is, but the character Blue is not that old. And it was like he went from being little boy Blue to, you know, almost like a middle school kid. Like, is he in middle school? Is ninth grade middle school? I don't know. I don't know. Y'all know I don't have children. I don't know. But I don't know about them timelines and whatnot. But yeah. Anyway, they're at the farm, Darla, Blue, and Ralph Angel, and their family, and farming family, and wholesome family, and loving family, and beautiful black family, and Ralph Angel's being a top-notch father, and Darla is being a devoted, lovely wife, and Blue is being your precocious but smart kid, and it's all wonderful when Blue discovers the letter from the school that Darlene want him to go to. And he read the paperwork, and they're very honest with him about what the paperwork is. Now, Darla still don't want him to go. You know what I mean? That's why she pulled Aunt Vi in last episode, which she shouldn't have done. And it should have always been just between her and Ralph Angel. And like they did, they bring the family in. But let me just keep on task here. So anywho, and they talk to him, they share with him, you know, about what it is and where it is, and he would have to leave and go away from the family. Now, my original concerns about Blue still stand. I'm gonna tell you right now, my baby ain't going nowhere. I'm not going, especially to DC. Is you crazy? Is you nuts? No, 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 no. You ain't taking my baby nowhere. Now, I will say this. I know people whose kids wanted to play football at a certain school because scouts picked from that school. We got a school here in DeKalb County called Southwest DeKalb. And there's a lot of people who wanted to live in that area because the school was known for turning out football players and getting scholarships and stuff. And so I had my good girlfriend, her husband has passed on now, but her son, they wanted him to play for that region, and they had to physically move out of their home and move into an apartment complex in that region. They kept their house, okay, but you had to physically show a lease and be living in that place. They sent people out to check to see if you was living in that neighborhood. They, because they wanted him to go to that school, because he wanted to go to that school. He's a electrical engineer now, so he don't even play football, child. He got to school and decided he didn't like football, but he went to college and he did get a scholarship because he went to that school. But they moved out of their home, 4 or 5 bedroom home, I can't remember which one, and moved into a 2 bedroom apartment so they could have an address. Okay, and they lived there. They physically moved things into that apartment so that they could live there and have that address, and he could finish his high school year out in that school. Okay, so sacrifices have to be made. If you really saying you doing all of this for your son, one of y'all need to go with Blue. One of y'all need to go with Blue. But anyway, I digress. I'm in my emotions now. It's just 9:15. I'm just 15 minutes off the show. Like I'm crunk. Listen, it's weird because Charlie has always been kind of like the professional leader, and here she is sick and no one knows she's sick because she hasn't told anyone, but also because no one's calling and asking her advice. For Darla to call and Charlie be the first one to know about them getting married and her getting her advice about applying for jobs and all of that, you would think she would have called and talked to Charlie. I mean, Charlie had her son Micah in all of these foo preppy schools, right? But nobody calls and brings Charlie in on the loop. Now, maybe they've been calling after her and she ain't been answering. I don't know. I'm not sure. But if my sister don't answer me back to back to back calls and texts and things like that, I'm going around there and knock on that door. I'm peeping through windows. Okay? And then after that, I'm driving through the front. You even have my sister trapped in that house. You even kidnapped my sister and I don't know it. No, So it's just weird. It's just weird that Charlie wasn't brought in on any of the conversation. But anyway, about Blue going to this school. Anyway, I think Blue wanted to go. I told you guys that last week. I think he would definitely want to go. And I think Ralph Angel was having these thoughts and emotions about it. And so Ralph Angel did what any good parent would do. He called and talked to Aunt Vi a little bit. And Aunt Vi, is still on that rah-rah. She's still on that rah-rah. This is not going to happen. You can't let Blue go. And Blue don't need to be away from the family and yada, yada, yada. Same way I feel. Same way I feel. Blue don't need to be away from the family. But we're going to get to the point of my football story in a minute. So, Darla is still adamant about him not going. She doesn't want him to go. Now, Blue want to go. And so after Ralph Angel talked with Aunt Vi, he called Micah. And that was a good call. That was a good call when he talked to Micah, because Micah has also not only been in those schools, but he benefited from those schools, and he made his own choice about going to a historic HBCU as opposed to going to Ivy League school, which he had the credentials and everything to go. And Michael said these schools are great in terms of curriculum and all of the advantages that come along with it. They can open a lot of doors, but there could be a downside to it too, especially for us, black people, people of color, right? And so he was very fair, very balanced, all of that. I enjoyed that conversation he had with Micah. And this is the first time I'm really seeing Micah as an adult male. Away from Charlie and away from all that silliness he was doing with being Showtime and all that bull crap. In his mode, in his zone, in his lane, Micah is extremely, he comes across extremely well balanced. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. Very mature, very sensible, and very well rounded conversationally and thought processes and those types of things. So love it. Love it. Okay, now, meanwhile, Hollywood is side-eyeing Aunt Vi because Aunt Vi is slowly but surely kind of spinning out over this whole Blue thing. Now, she done put her definitive foot down, and she feels like, just like with everything else, everybody's like, well, Aunt Vi said no, or Aunt Vi didn't want to do it, so we not gonna do it. And so she's not in full spin. But this is something that Ralph Angel feels strongly about because he walks up on Blue talking with one of his school buddies about what he wanted to be when he grew up. And the little boy was like, I want to be this, that. Typical things that doctor, lawyer, astronaut, all these types of things. And Blue say, well, I think I want to be a farmer. And so while Ralph Angel is proud and he feels flattered and, here's an opportunity for him to leave Blue the same legacy that his dad left for him. He feels great about it, but immediately he feels this conviction because while he feels like he's protecting Blue and he's more comfortable with Blue there with him where he can keep an eye on him and protect him, more acutely. At the same time, he feels like here's a kid that is going to soar. He is going to be a shooting star. He is going to be a strong force in this world. And who am I to hold him back? See, all things being equal, I don't think they would have a problem with the baby going to a good school, but they don't currently have enough resources to send him to this level of education, to provide this level of education for him, free ride. And so it seems even that much more foolish, I'm sure, in Ralph Angel's mind for him to have this shooting star, this unicorn, and you just tie him up to the barn and don't let him flap his wings. You know what I'm saying? He just can only fly just right around in here. You know what I'm saying? When he's got wings strong enough to circle the globe 2 and 3 times, right? Like, come on. This is what Ralph Angel is feeling. And so he has a talk with Darla. Now, we don't hear the conversation, but we do see Ralph Angel take this, have a very serious countenance. It was great acting in this moment. He said, I need to talk. And when he said, I need to talk, first of all, Darla noticed that something was going on because they was having one of their little mundane conversations. And she noticed immediately he had something on his mind. He said he needed to talk. And she said, what's wrong? It was a good moment. It was a tender moment. It wasn't this frivolous, what do I want to say? How sometimes they just be doing stuff. They just be doing stuff on the doggone, program just because they think we want, this salacious excitement. You know what I mean? Instead of giving us this earnest conversation and acting, and this earnest emoting, we just get these frivolous blow ups or whatever. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like that. We didn't even hear the conversation they had between them. We just saw this exchange, and we realized this is the moment where Ralph Angel is going to um, truly be the dad and say, I understand how you feel, but I feel like if we deny Blue this opportunity, we're going to deny him from being his best self. That's how I feel like Ralph Angel felt about it. And so later on, we see them sitting on the porch and they talking. And Blue starts talking about it's like overkill at this point. And we get it. You got a big brain, you've got a big head. They also had this conversation with Blue because Ralph Angel came in after he had talked with Micah. He comes in with Black Panther doll, and I'm not gonna talk about this too much because y'all know I get emotional. And it was something that he always wanted. Like, it's this pretty substantially large Black Panther doll, and they're pretty much collectibles now because Chadwick Boseman, has gone on to be with the Lord, and we don't know what we're gonna get for Black Panther next. You know what I mean? So, they talk about, Blue missing Chadwick Boseman, and Ralph Angel just gives this really, really wonderful speech. And it was just perfect. It's something I always say, especially to people that I am encouraging, and that is the spirit never dies. The spirit never dies. You live a life well lived. That spirit will speak for you. That legacy will speak for you long after you gone from this place. Long after you gone from this place. Flesh dies. Spirit does not. Oh. Don't it make you feel good? Don't it make you feel good? It should make you feel good. It should make you feel good, huh? It should make you feel good every time you smell the strong smell of coffee, and it reminds you of your daddy who ain't here no more. Okay, it should make you feel good every time you smell lilac and palmeria, and it reminds you of your big mama. Yeah, yeah. Or you see somebody that's got moles in her face. Like, I'm telling you, the spirit never dies. Anyway, it's a good conversation. Fast forward. They sitting on the porch, and he's talking about, like I said, it's overkill at this point. He's talking about how he had a dream. They had dreams, and he had a dream. And he had dreamed that he was an astronaut and a doctor and a lawyer and a president of the United States, and he saved the world, and Iron Man. Like, it was a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, good Lord, what did you eat before bed? You can't eat a lot of sugar before bed. That's when you be having these, what I'm saying. But he had a dream kind of like Hippolyta did. Y'all remember when that machine stuck Hippolyta in, and she went through time and space and energy, baby, and she became time and she became space and she became energy. Yeah, he had one of them dreams, right? And so yeah, so Ralph Angel asked him, said, I heard you talking to your friend and said that you wanted to be a farmer. He was like, yeah, being a farmer is a good thing. Farmers help people, right? And I was like, okay, Blue, what are you, 12, 10, 8, 5? What's happening? If farmers help people. And so, being funny. So, and Ralph Angel was like, yeah, but don't you it's okay if you want to be something else. I think it's really great. Papa was a farmer, and you're a farmer, and I'm going to be a farmer too. And he was like, that's fine. That's fine. That's very good. I'm proud of that. Being a farmer is great. We do help people. It's like, but it's okay if you want to be something else. And Blue was like, well, I've been thinking about that school. I was like, oh, here we go. And he tells Darla that Darla said, well, what about that school? Do you think that's something you would want to do? He was like, yeah, I think it would be great to learn new things. And I think it would be awesome to have these new experiences. And she was like, well, do you think you would want to go there even though it means being away from us? And he was like, yeah, I think I do. And then he hugged her and he consoled her. He said, Mama, please don't be sad. Please don't be sad. And she was like, no, I'm not. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And it was a good moment. It was a great moment. Well, she was hugging Blue, and then Ralph Angel got up and walked behind him and hugged them both, and it looked like one of them sculptures you see in black owned art stores where the daddy is hugging the mama and the mama hugging the baby and the daddy got, that's what it looked like. I was like, Lord, if that ain't the painting and the sculptures you see in black owned art stores, right? And it was a good moment. So then they call a family meeting. And when they call the family meeting on Zoom, everybody's there. Micah, Nova, Charlie, Aunt Vi, and Hollywood in their own square too. And they think that Darla and Ralph Angel pregnant. And then they was like, no, no, good guess, but no, not at this time. And they called Blue in. Blue come on in. He sit down and he was like, so I'm gonna be a genius. Tells him that he's going away to this school. And everybody's like, super great. Nova's like, you are incredible. You know what I'm saying? You are outstanding. And Michael was even more excited on Zoom with Blue than he was. He was super excited about Blue being accepted to the school when he was on the phone with Ralph Angel. And so everybody's, big up and big up and big up at Charlie and Hollywood. And Aunt Vi's like, okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Meanwhile, she that texting Raw. Okay. I'm just gonna miss you. That's all, baby. It's a lovely surprise, and I'm just gonna miss you, baby. He was like, I know ain't Vi, but you can still come up and see me. It's only 1,122 miles and 73 kilometers away. I was like, okay, Blue, we get it. We got it. We got it, Blue. We got it. Anywho, she done text him something foul. Now, I couldn't read what it said. I could not read what it said. You know what I mean? And, but I knew it wasn't good, because when Ralph Angel pulled that phone out and looked at it and slid it back down his pocket, I was like, the next time we saw Ralph Angel, he was sitting out on the front porch with some dark liquor in a glass. And Ralph and Vi called and he looked over at the phone. Okay, and as soon as he picked up, he said, Vi. Not Aunt Vi, he said, Vi. She said, Ralph Angel. Baby, when I tell you, Aunt Vi walked up one side of Ralph Angel and down the other, some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, Vi, this is a problem. This is bleeding outside of the circle. This is more than your slip hanging. Your slip hanging, your zipper open, and you got two buttons bust out the front. I mean, we seeing areola here at this point. Ain't Vi? Ooh, baby, when I tell you your daddy would be ashamed of you. Oh, yes. He as much as my child as he is yours. And Ralph Angel was very direct. Ralph Angel was respectful. Okay? And Ralph Angel spoke up for himself. Okay? Not in that angry, who the you talking to? None of that. He said, listen, I'm trying to respect you, do more for you than what you're doing for me right now. Please don't make me hang up this phone on you. And please show me respect, because it was good. It was good. And so he told her, he said that he's not your child. He is not your child. And I appreciate everything you've done for him. But you don't get final say. I want your input. I want your opinion. But you don't get final say. Me and his mama get final say. And baby, when I tell you, Aunt Vi, when he said I don't want to hang up on you. First of all, she was like, you better not hang up on me, A. And then B, she just let go a litany. Your daddy would be ashamed of you. And all of this other stuff. She started the conversation out by saying his daddy would be disappointed in how he acting. And she ended it by saying your daddy would be ashamed of you. And it was like a hot knife going through butter. And I don't know what the tail end of it was that she said, but whatever it was, it shifted their relationship, and I could see it in Ralph Angel's eyes. I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna put my closed caption on. I was so excited I didn't want to look down and put my closed caption on. I was so scared I was gonna miss something. They commercials be long, but they scenes be long too. And so whatever that tail end of what she said, baby, he went ahead and hung up, and I could see it fractured something in him. You can say something. Now, this is a good tidbit for women. A man could call you out your name 20 times. And for whatever reason, it's something in women that we continue to forgive. Now, you don't want to do that with me. But for the most part, things like that women can forgive, right? But you can say words to a man that will fracture his manhood. You can say words to a man that will fracture your relationship with, that will fracture the trust and respect he has for you. And whatever the tail end of what, y'all gonna put it down below. I know y'all gonna put it down below. I know y'all are, because I can depend on y'all. Whatever that was she said, that last little piece of what she said, baby, it fractured. It fractured that relationship. It did. It did. I could see it. I could see it. I could see it on Ralph Angel's face. I could see it in his shoulders, the way his skin kind of went sallow a little bit. Whatever she said, baby, when I tell you it pulled his innards out through his nose. Ain't that? Ain't that? Ain't that? Ain't that? Baby. Baby. You're doing too much, sis. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're doing the very thing that's going to separate you from Blue and Ralph Angel and Dollar even that much more. Even that more than the miles. Okay. Charlie at home with Davis. And they basically reconnecting. And I think it wasn't until the moment he left to go back home from taking care of her that she realized he's changed. I think she could see it. It was an easygoing conversation. They weren't arguing. He wasn't defending himself or behaviors. He was being very ingratiating. He was admitting to his shortfalls. He was admitting to how she was a huge part of why he was such a well-known, well-rounded, had a very lucrative basketball career. She was a huge part behind that. And she admitted to quite a bit of things that she loved about him. The fact that he is a nerd and a history buff and all of that. And they had this moment where she was like, imagine if fans knew. He was like, well, no, you weren't going to let that happen anyway. And it wasn't like a slight to her or anything, but he was continuing to reference the fact that she had a very strategic way that she managed his career. And it turned out it was the biggest reason why he had such longevity, and it was so lucrative. And, he offered to cook for her and all of this stuff. And I thought, she was like, I'll help you. I thought she was going to go down there and do all the chopping and get out of the way. And you don't know what my pots are and all this stuff. Instead of just relaxing, baby, and let somebody show you some kindness and love on you a little bit. I could use some practice at that. I could use somebody that could help me practice my non-controlling skills. You know what I'm saying? My relax and be chill skills. That would be helpful, Lord. Anywho, it was a good moment. And I love when they talked briefly about Micah and how well Micah was doing in Minneapolis, and how he had been interviewed by a reporter, a national reporter, and he was so well spoken and so confident, so self-assured, and so knowledgeable about what was going on. It was so impactful, and it was such a great soundbite that they were playing it over and over and over and over and over again. and how proud he was of him, and how proud he was of Charlie for letting Micah go, and releasing it. And she was talking about how hard it was to let him go, but she can't hold him back. Like, they just having a just good conversation. It wasn't contentious. It wasn't antagonizing. It wasn't any of those things. It was just easy breezy conversation. And I know quite a few people have said they felt like Queen Sugar has been boring this season. I have not felt like it was boring. I felt like I was peeking into people's lives, and I found that interesting. I did. I don't need, a lot of salaciousness. I do not. I don't need that. So, it wasn't until he was like, okay, so I'm going to leave you be. I'm not going to overstay my welcome. You seem like you're stronger and you're getting better. This after he done cooked her meals and put a smoothie in the fridge. He told her what was in it. He told her he knows she like her smoothie sweet, so he put pineapple in it. I was like, okay, Davis, you still ain't mentioned that daughter now. When we going to talk about that daughter that you done had on Charlie? I'm not saying we can't forgive Davis. I mean, anything better than Remy, but still we got some things we need to talk about. But this was a no pressure type thing. He easing his way back into it. Now he ain't no young man no more. Okay, he ain't no young man no more. All right. So this about the time they like to come home. This about the time they like to be with your what they call it. Mom got some more blackberry cobbler for you, right? Mm-hmm. This when they want to come and be a husband after they done threw their knees and they joints and their kidneys, their back out, they got the sugar and the gout. They want you to come and nurse them to hell. Right, but when they was out there with a fully functioning penis, they was giving it out to all the young girls, right? Anyway, I digress. I'm giving Davis a chance. So it wasn't until he walked out the door where she realized he's different. He's changed. I'm actually attracted to him again. It was just this look on her face. I was like, And all the while she was just like, oh, she was holding those boundaries. I think she was waiting for him to say or do something to piss her off so she could just be like, you know what? You're the one who yada, yada, yada. But he wasn't giving her none of that. He was just giving her butter, baby. Butter, butter, butter. Smooth. Melt in your mouth. Butter. Okay? I make your meal from scratch, boo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see what's going on with that. Now, let's talk about Nova. Now, Calvin is in Baton Rouge, and he is the head of a security detail. I've been talking for weeks about what is Calvin doing with his life. He ain't a police officer no more. All he doing is walking around this Nova's house, making her coffee and stuff and serving her peen. And so I was like, but where his job at now? We see where he's the head of a security detail. Most police officers, when they get out of police and they go into securities. And so he's there and he's got a suit on and she's FaceTiming and she is she is kind of fawning over his good looks and all of that. And he was like, I'm going to be here for a few more days. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, it's okay. Just get home safe and take good care of yourself. And he was like, I love you. And she was like, I love you too. I was like, And then she looked down her phone and she see this story about this young guy, this promising basketball player who was paralyzed by police brutality. And so then she gets in touch with the lady that wrote the article, who has retired from the paper that she wrote the article for. And the lady sends her all her notes and everything, and talks to her about the 4 cops. It was 4 cops that was involved. And the minute she said that, I knew it was Calvin. I knew Calvin was going to be involved in it some type of way. So then Nova goes to meet with this guy. right? And this after the family Zoom call and all that stuff, she goes and meets with this guy. And they meet in a park, masked up, and he is a paraplegic. So he got movement of his arms. Is that paraplegia? I can't. He can move the knobs on the chair and stuff, but his hands is pulled up, and he can, do things like that. You know, and he can get the knob and stuff like that. But he's in a chair. He's in a full on like captain's chair, and and you know, when you see him from the back, he almost looks like an old man. And I was like, gosh, how long ago was this? This, I mean, but then when you hear him talk, you realize he's still relatively young guy. I mean, a lot of times people who are in these positions, they have a lot of puffiness, in things like that. So I think that the fullness of his face and everything was giving. It was just you could just tell this guy wasn't. I don't think this guy was acting. I think this is um a is it quadriplegic? Because that's four. So he's got four limbs that are paralyzed, like his legs are fully and maybe his arms are partial. I think that's quadriplegic. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You guys can school me on it down below. But I think this is an individual, an actor that is handicapable. I think this is a person, a actual actor that is. I'm gonna look into it when I get off of here. But as he was talking and everything, it was apparent that this guy can't be any more than maybe 30 years old. And I only say that because Calvin was a rookie, and then look at Calvin now with that salt and pepper hair and how old and stuff his kids are. To think when he was a rookie, he had to be himself. Like, I don't know. I was just trying to work that whole timeline in my head. And, my mind was just racing through it all. And so he asks her right off, tells her right off the way that he follows her work. He subscribed to her paper, and he read her book, and it was deep, and she was like, oh yeah, I like to keep people guessing. And I love that mask he had on. And he says, well, aren't you writing a book? Are you something about writing a book? And she was like, oh yeah, no. He's like, oh, don't you want to ask me about, I thought you wanted to ask me about my story. And that's what it was. And she was like, oh yeah, yeah, of course. And she was like, yeah, can you tell me what happened? And so he tells her about this story about how he had been accepted to college, a full ride scholarship, and he was still pulled back and forth in those worlds where he had to be a certain way around the neighborhood, even though he had these aspirations of doing more. It was like this, it's kind of one of those things where it's like your last weekend before you leaving, and so you kind of blow it out a little bit. And he running with a group of dudes, and they had some stolen car parts, and the police called him with the parts. And he told the police officers that he had a full ride to a scholarship to school, and he was sorry that he had done this and he would never do it again. And the police was like, you daggum right, you never do it again. And then he said they took him and his boys in the back alley, and they took turns whipping each one of them, but ours. And so he said, but it was the last blow from the last officer, his final blow, that paralyzed him, that broke his back. And she was like, oh my gosh, like she's crying hearing the story. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be Calvin. I just know it. Guess what he said? He said, she was like, did you get the badge numbers of the officers, their names? He was like, well, I thought that's why you was here, because you was writing a book about him. You thanked him in your book. She was like, what? Yeah, the police officer that paralyzed me, that delivered the blow that paralyzed me. And Was the officer you thanked in your book. And she said, what? Calvin. Calvin. It's Calvin. Now, Calvin may have been a rookie, okay? And he may even be sorry for what he did right now. But the fact that he knew that this thing happened, he knew the impact that it had on this guy, and for you to sit and watch the George Floyd thing and say you feel no guilt and you don't feel responsible in any way, even though you're a white man who also happened to be on the police force, is crazy to me. It's crazy to me because you've put what you did to this young black boy away. You have packed it away. You have packed it away. And that I cannot forgive. Now, when I say I cannot forgive, I don't mean I can't forgive him. But this why I say he ain't for Nova. This why I say he ain't for Nova. How can he be? How can he be? Even if he's the most remorseful that he has ever been. Even if he is sorry like none other. Okay? I mean, you don't feel any responsibility. You don't feel convicted in any way. I mean, for God's sakes, he wanted her to turn it off. He don't really want her to get too deep involved in this whole George Floyd situation. Like I don't know if he just don't want to bring it up for himself, but hell, you got to think about all the black people that's got to see it over and over and over and over again, knowing that it's gonna happen over and over and over again. Like, the whole way he acted when that George Floyd situation jumped off. What y'all think? What y'all think? I'm judging. I'm judging. I'm judging. But Nova, I told you. I told you. I tried to tell you, girl. Now, maybe for some other black woman. Maybe. Somebody who's not as active. Somebody who's not as conscious. Somebody who's not as woke. Maybe. It would be a okay fit. I'm not saying he seemed like he really loved Nova. But not even just the George Floyd situation, but it's happened over and over and over again. All while you was a police officer. Well, she gonna confront him about it next week. That's gonna be the season finale. And they say the last 5 minutes is gonna be a doozy. I don't know what is going to happen. Now, y'all tell me what y'all think about this episode. It was a really good episode. Ooh, Ain't Vi, don't do this. Don't do this, girl. Don't do this. It's don't run your people away. Don't run your people away. Okay? We got to get to the bottom of what's going on with Ain't Vi. We got to. Is Ralph Angel Ain't Vi? I don't know. What y'all think it is? Y'all tell me. What do y'all think it is? Do y'all think Ralph Angel is Ain't Vi's son? I don't know. What is going on? Like, what is happening? I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. What could be the doozy? I mean, listen. One of them, him or Darla, need to go and stay with Blue. Now, they can come home once a month, every other weekend. 1,000 miles is a long ride, though. I don't care what nobody say. And I wouldn't send my son that age nowhere without at least one parent. So I feel like that's the true sacrifice. The true sacrifice is that one of y'all gonna have to go and stay with Blue while he go to school and come back and forth from DC to St. Joe. And since he run the farm, it's going to have to be Darla. So y'all just got together, and the sacrifice is y'all going to have to be apart for a good part of the relationship, because Blue's got to go to school, and Blue ain't just got 4 years. Blue's got a while. That's my thing. That's my thing. If you're gonna send him, you want the best for him. I get that, but one of y'all need to be with him. I would not send a child that age up there to let white folks see about. No, 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 nope, 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 nada. It's crazy. It's crazy. Which is, I'm. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below. Oh my gosh, my mind is blown. I'm tripping. I'm really tripping off of Vi, and I'm not so surprised about the Calvin situation. Um, but Calvin for me is a non-negotiable. Like I just don't see where he fits in with Nova. I don't see where he adds anything to Nova. That time period that he was in Baton Rouge and she was running and on the treadmill and out and about, being woman about the city, even though we were in the middle of a pandemic and all that stuff. To me, that felt more like the old Nova. Like, this is our first time even just seeing Nova's figure. Like, prior to this, in other episodes this season, she hasn't been as colorful. She's been a lot more meek and mild and kind of dowdy looking, that type of thing. Well, while he was gone, this is the first time we saw some glimpses of that independent, energetic, vivacious Nova. Right? I stand by it. I don't think Calvin adds anything to him, and I don't think Calvin deserves all the textures and colors and wonderfulness that is Nova. I don't. Why would you? Why would you? Why would you give it to Calvin? Why would you, if what you care about, in my mind, this just me being transparent, being authentic, being vulnerable. I could catch flack for this, and I'm open to healthy conversation. But you care about the culture, and I say this for black men who choose to be with white women. You care about the culture. You care about um, everything that is wonderful about black people, black women, black children, black men, and you've invested everything that has been bestowed upon you educationally and legacy wise, everything that your mom passed down, all of this you have viewed and put it into your life's work, which is black people and black ideas, black issues, black settings. You've done all of these things, and then you give all of this wonderfulness, all of this to a white man, a white police officer who's brutalized a black boy, a black man. What are we doing? Why? He doesn't deserve her. He does not deserve her. He does not deserve all things that Nova. He doesn't deserve blackness. He doesn't. And that's just how I feel. Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. Okay, Badu, I'm sorry I didn't answer your questions. I didn't talk to you back and forth in the comments last week, but I was super, 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 super underneath work and busyness. You know how I do. I'm sorry, okay? I read everything and I agreed. But please come back this week and talk to me, sis, okay? And we'll chat it up about this. Oh, child. Oh, Lord. Okay, listen. We're going to do something special for the season finale. I think I'm going to read comments. I think I'm going to do like a pre-little thing and read comments, because y'all comments are outstanding down below. Maybe we'll do like a season recap. Maybe we will do y'all know, remember I used to do character analysis. Maybe I'll do that for this season of Queen Sugar, and I'll do the comments there. Okay, y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. Let me let y'all go, child. I'll talk to you later. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll holla.